So, Nicole, how long have you worked for Smoky Bones?
I've been with Smoky Bones for 5.5 years. I joined back in October of 2015. It's been a long time.
That's a pretty long time. Um, what would you consider to be one of your greatest accomplishments at Smoky Bones?
Wow, that's a great question. So I would say the biggest accomplishment has really been in the recent years with what we just came out of with the pandemic. So there's been so many accomplishments throughout the years. I've seen the company grow and go through so many life cycles over the 5.5 years that I've been here. But really watching the company be able to navigate through the pandemic, not only from a financial perspective, obviously we're doing great as a company, we're coming out strong, and it's awesome to see what the leaders are doing out there. But from a personal perspective, being able to align with our leadership team and be able to create that culture of open transparency, having the manager calls every week, I feel that we've really been able to connect, and I really have gotten insight into the leaders and what really motivates the team. And that to me has driven our success as a company and has been one of the greatest accomplishments, that I was able to be part of that leadership team and be able to open the lines of communication and really learn the insights of what goes on in the restaurants every day and how to successfully navigate through this crazy year that we just went through.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so amazing how we are already finished with the first year. It went so fast when you're having fun, I say.
Absolutely. I think we all came out stronger from it for sure.
For sure, personally as well.
Yeah, of course.
So do you happen to have any hidden talents outside of Smoky Bones? And if you do, what could they be?
I think my hidden talent is to be able to be at 10 different places in one time at one time. So a lot of our team members probably don't know I'm married. I have three beautiful children that are little. I've got an 11-year-old and twins that are 9. So
Wow.
I have a lot going on all the time, and they're all in travel soccer and dance and all this crazy
But
stuff. So really being able to balance my career and my position within Smoky Bones and be able to still be there for the kids and on the soccer field and dance mom and all of that stuff, that to me is my hidden superpower that most people probably don't realize I do behind the scenes.
yeah, you're right, because I surely didn't know. Do you show up on time for those events? Because that could be a problematic thing.
Always, always. I have always been, I mean, I'm a CFO, a type A personality. So I've always been of the mindset, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
Late.
So somehow we get there, but I've spent many years making sure that I have set myself up to be able to allow my kids to do what they want to do, and also be able to have the career that I've had. So for example, if I know that I have meetings or they need to be somewhere early, I surround myself with a great network that's able to help. So if I can't get them there on time, somebody else gets them there for me.
That's awesome. Sounds like some Smoky Bones teamwork there.
Yeah, exactly. It all translates for sure.
Right. So do you have a particular person that you would look up to for inspiration, or that you have looked up to, or currently, I guess, do you use like the same type of role model?
So over my career, so I'm over 20 years in my career. I feel so old by saying that, but I've had so many inspirational people cross my path since I've been in the workforce. And I think there's many people that have influenced me personally and professionally. So I've been so blessed and benefit in surrounding myself with really amazing people. One particular mentor that comes to mind was a partner when I started my career. I started with Deloitte, which is one of the big 4 accounting firms. And the partner that I interviewed with to get the job was just a tremendous charismatic leader. And at the time I was working when I was in school. So I wore many different hats, and I didn't have a 4.0 coming out of school. I did fine, but I didn't necessarily have 4.0 because I was paying my way through school and all of that. So this gentleman specifically, I met him during the the interview process. And I remember him saying that I hire for attitude, not aptitude. I could train you how to be a good accountant, but I'm going to hire you because of the person you are and the attitude that you have. And he really took a chance on me back then and continued to be really a mentor and a leader and a role model, both professionally and personally throughout my career. The other side of it is I've had some amazing female mentors throughout my career. I love my male mentors and my male coworkers, but there's just something really powerful about female leadership and trying to figure out how to manage all of this stuff, all the stuff in life with the kids and the family and career and everything. So I remember one of my female mentors telling me years ago, it's not necessarily work-life balance. It's a juggling act, and it's not keeping all the balls in the air. It's identifying which balls are glass, which balls are plastic, and make sure that if you're going to drop them, you drop the plastic ones, not the glass ones. So to me,
I never heard that before. That was pretty.
Yeah, those are the people that have been the most impactful to me and that I like to surround myself with and call my mentors.
Awesome. I still see you have your short hair, by the way.
I do.
Like it.
I cut 20 inches because you guys achieved your goals a little quicker than I expected.
Yeah, I like the short hair on you. Looks pretty good.
Thanks, Kayla.
What kind of resources have you used in the past or currently to help you with your career, such as like books or TED Talk, or do you do like any YouTube type of inspirational interviews?
So over the years, I would say a lot of different aspects. I do a lot of reading. I read a lot of articles, whether it be in the industry or the journals, just so I'm able to stay on top of what's going on within the industry, or I like to stay involved with what's happening in the community as well. And I think by knowing what's happening with the community, even outside of normal business, really helps me stay engaged and keeps me grounded to make sure that I'm seeing what's happening in the world. I also I listen to a lot of podcasts. I think it's something that I started listening to a couple years ago. I was definitely late to the game. A friend told me about a podcast. I'm like, where do you find that? How do you get to that? And once I found it, it made my commute so much better and easier. But I think there's every topic in the world on there, whatever your top of mind, whatever is weighing on your mind at that time, there's always a podcast, how to be a better leader, how to be a better mother, how to balance things. So that's been a great outlet for me.
That's awesome. So for your children, do you see any like interest in them going the same route as you, or have they shown any, I know they're younger, but have they shown any, signs of something that they might want to do, or, do you think they're leading in your husband's path a little more? I'm sure you're all pretty smart, so I thought that would be a good one to ask. Is your kid in college yet?
You guys, I think right now my older one wants to be an NFL player, and they're still at that young aspirational level, and I like to encourage them to kind of be and do whatever they want to be. They work hard in school, and it's interesting. Each kid is very different, and that's one thing I've learned from parenting. Is that not to treat each of them in the same exact way, because they all have their different qualities. So I tell my kids all the time, you could be whatever you want to be, and I'll support whatever you want to do. My only requirement is to be a good person. So I want them to be kind, treat people well, and really just stay out of trouble. But ultimately, 2 of my 3 are excellent in math. So, hey, maybe there'll be an accounting path, but it's a tough path. They love the restaurants. They see me in the restaurants. Funny story, when I started and told them I was working at Smokey Bones, they thought I was one of our bartenders for many years. That's what they go into the restaurant and they see. And I let them think that. I never told them anything different, because my goal is, it doesn't matter if I am entry level or senior level. It just work hard and just make sure you're really good at what you do. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what they wind up doing.
That's good. So since you brought up math, what was the highest level that you had to achieve, and what do you think was your hardest class in your college years? for you to get past?
So I went to University of Miami. So I am a Hurricane. So I'm going to throw out my U for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hurricane.
I got a lot of family that love the Miami. So
funny enough, my hardest class at the university was not even in my major. When I went into the university, I was talking to my one of my counselors, and I signed up for a calculus class. And she said to me, "You don't need to take calculus. It's not in the accounting major." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I really like math." And she said, "Take something super easy so you get an easy A." And we were looking at it, and botany was, I had to take a science class. It was a study of plants. I'm like, how hard can that be? Hardest class I've ever taken. I think
wow, I didn't even know they had classes for that.
I got a C in the class. I was so disappointed. It didn't impact my GPA. I'm like, I would have been better in calculus. So stick to what you're really, really good at. Don't let your counselors tell you differently.
I definitely won't let that go on. So what other ways do you keep yourself motivated, whether it's at work or outside?
So I keep myself motivated. Number one, my kids keep me extremely motivated. So just to be able to provide for them and be able to help fulfill their dreams and make sure that I'm preparing and setting them up for success, it really, really motivates me. The other thing, I mean, we all get busy, we all get buried, we all get stressed, and there's days where it's like, I just want to retire and I want to go sit on a beach somewhere.
Right.
And I get reminded of how lucky I am to be in the position that I'm in. And I'm very lucky that somebody gave me a chance years ago, and that I've had so many people over the course of my career that have seen my potential and have pushed me to be that much better and to really become the leader that I've become. So just remembering that and how really lucky I am to be in the role that I'm in, working on the team that I'm in, and being able to work with all of our field leaders and people like you, and being able to just guide and inspire is really what keeps me motivated every single day to get out of bed. It's never a chore to come to work because I love what I do.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Part of the reason for you. Do you happen to have a current goal that you are trying to achieve? And what is that?
So my long-term goal is to be able to retire early. So that whole travel and go to the beach and all of that, I want to be able to retire with my husband, and after we get the kids through school and all of that good stuff. So that's my long-term goal. My short-term goal really is on the business side and the professional side, and that is really to continue to support our company in getting into these final phases of growth mode. And that is not only through the financial aspect, of course, you know, I wear my CFO hat and I love the financial side of it, but really helping our teams be able to become just the number one place that people think to go to, right? So think about, like, I would love for Smokey Bones to be the Cheers of every community, where everyone goes in and they know your name, and it's just an exceptional, great experience. And I think that short-term goal just comes from the continued momentum and leadership of the field with the support of the RSC.
Good. That long-term goal sounds a lot better to me. I don't know about you. That's the same goal I have. So we got something in common.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a decision that you wish you hadn't have made, whether it was a business decision or maybe something personal in your earlier years? Like if you went to a college, you should have went to a different one, or if there was something with Smokey Bones that you wish you didn't make?
That is a really, really great question, and a really hard one. So I try to lead my life with no regrets, and am a strong believer in everything happens for a reason, and you turn poor decisions into opportunities. So that's how I like to lead through my career and my personal life as well. I love my college, so it certainly wasn't picking where I went to college. Um, I would say one decision I think I made, which was a poor financial decision when I was in college, was I decided that one way I was going to still continue to have fun and fund my way through that part of my life was by taking out credit cards and running up credit card debt, which I think so many people do when they're younger and just trying to figure out kind of how to finance things. That decision was poor. It stayed with me for a good 7 years on my credit and took me a long time to claw my way out of that hole. Mm-hmm. So if I could do it over, I would have listened to my dad and not taken out a lot of credit card debt.
Heard that. That is very good advice for, all of us. So I appreciate you letting us know that we can all make those financial decisions, even if we're really great at math. So that's really good. Thank you. If you did have to pick a dream job, which you might already have, if you had to pick a different dream job, what would that be?
So I don't know how many people in their careers can actually say that they have their dream job, but I absolutely can say that. And I've talked to James as our CEO, and I've told him before point blank that if I was to leave this company for my dream job, I'd leave to this company. So it's, I'm very, very fortunate to have positioned myself in that. I would say if I had to give you an answer, my dream job would be really to be on the philanthropy side and work for a not-for-profit to raise money for a kids organization.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. What advice would you give to future leaders or, general managers or even just the team period?
So let me think about this. There's so many different aspects of advice. I would say, I'm going to give you two answers. So number one, at many points within my career, I've gone through different personality and leadership tests on identifying what my personality is and what my strengths and weaknesses were. And as a part of that, I like to do it every couple years, because what it reminds me of is not necessarily what my strengths and weaknesses are, but it reminds me of other personality types and what it takes to make a successful team. So if every leader within your team or every team member everybody on your floor in your back of the house was analytical and A-type personality, it wouldn't be a really fun environment for your guests. So you've got to make sure that you don't look at the other people's views and the way that they do things as a negative. You've got to celebrate our differences and make sure you assemble your teams in a way that you're diversifying all kinds of different personality types, so that you're able to complement each other and really set yourself up for a really successful, great working environment. And celebrate your differences and make sure that you're just constantly diversifying your teams. The other thing, which is a little bit shorter, these are the words that I manage and live by, is stay humble, work hard, and be kind. And that throughout my 20 years has how I have stayed my course, especially on the humility and the humble side, because it will just make you that much more of a great leader.
Thank you. To piggyback that, have you been in a situation where you have had a leader that you have tried, multiple avenues for that, but maybe they didn't see your qualities or the good things in you, and but you knew they were there? And how do you navigate through somebody like that? I mean, besides just like wait them out or whatever the case may be, but do you have a situation where that could have occurred?
I do. I actually have many of those situations. And the biggest thing as I've progressed in my career is that the most challenging people that I've worked for, that were the hardest, and I was probably the most miserable and beat down, are the people that I've learned the most from in my career. And the way that I have flipped that is I've taken the qualities that of those leaders that didn't appreciate me and didn't see me for who I was, and I've developed my leadership style around how to not be like that. So it's an awareness thing that if somebody made me feel like this, I'm going to take that out of my leadership repertoire and make sure that I am a better leader and that I don't make anybody feel the way that they did. So when you're in that situation, that is my biggest piece of advice, is to take those leadership opportunities and learn from them, and just take mental notes as to what you don't want to be as a leader and what qualities you want to work harder on to make sure that you're not perceived as that. The other side of that is when you're in those situations, instead of fighting it and challenging it and saying, I am a good person, I am a good leader, why are you not seeing that in me? Figure out what makes your leader tick, figure out what motivates them, and try and align your thought process and leadership to help combat some of that, right? So maybe the approach that you're taking with them, maybe you're being aggressive or something to that aspect, maybe that doesn't work for your leader. Maybe they're more a humble leader, maybe they're a more aggressive leader. Try and find ways to really show off and highlight where your successful points are. And to me, there's nothing better than proving by action. Just go out there and be really kick butt at whatever you do. And then no matter how hard that leader is, you have your results to show for it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a really good response. Because I feel like, anywhere where people work or in the work field, that they have encountered that at least once, or they might presently be encountering that. And it's definitely not an easy thing, especially if you're trying to find the solution in a book or, a podcast. Like, that's not always where you're going to find that information, but it's more like mentally what you are going to do as a person, and then how you're going to move forward in this situation. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. And always rely on others. I mean, you should have an outside network of people that you can bounce ideas off of, because sometimes when you position your situation to an outside person, they have a different perspective on it and they can offer advice. In our restaurants, there's 3 to 5 managers, you have your directors, you have people at the RSC, you have your peers, whoever it is. Just find somebody that you can get that advice from and help you work through situations and see the good throughout them. And if you're ever in a situation that you're uncomfortable with, at that point, don't ever be afraid to elevate it to a leadership position, because you should never feel that you're in an uncomfortable position within the organization.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I do actually have a fun question involved here. It's one of the last ones. So I did notice one thing when I met you at the conference, and I think it's because I'm also the same person, but I love shoes, and I might think that you also love shoes, because I only saw you a few days, but every time I saw you, you were wearing a different pair. But the only difference between you and I are that you like the fancy heel shoes and I like the tennis shoes. Like I need to grow up a little bit, but I probably have at least 40 pair of LeBrons and Jordans and Nikes that I've never even taken out of the box. So if you were to guess how many pair you had, what was the number you'd say?
Oh my goodness. So I will say, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, my shoe preference has changed. The idea of flip-flops and sneakers, I absolutely love now. So I have lots of stylish fun sneakers. I would say, I'm almost embarrassed to answer this, I probably have, I don't know, 60 or 70 pairs of shoes. I'm going to blame that for living in Florida. So I don't know. I have a lot of flip-flops and they don't take up a lot of space. But believe it or not, as much as I love my fancy heels, and I believe at the GM conference, I wore some really cool red heels. I think my favorite shoes are actually like my hunter boots and my UGG boots, because I don't get to wear them very often, but they're super comfy and casual, and I love wearing them outside on the weekends.
Yeah. I was going to say, where do you wear boots out in Florida?
It gets in the 60s like 3 days a year, and we make sure that we take the Uggs out for all 3 days.
Yeah. Gotta put them to use. My mom and sister live down in Tampa. My whole family lives in Florida, actually. I'm the only crazy person that's still up in the snow, but it's all right. I'll make it one day.
Now my hunter rain boots do get a lot of use in the summer down here. So
Yeah.
right now I love my heels too.
That's good. Do you think that you're gonna let your hair grow back out, or are you gonna rock the short for the summertime? Well,
No,
I guess
I keep going back and forth. My plan was to let it grow back out, but I've been getting a lot of feedback that I should keep my short hair. Maybe I'll put it to a poll with our managers, see what they think. I don't know.
yeah, you should
What do
for
you
sure.
think?
I like it short. I think it looks good. I mean, it looked good long too, but not everybody can pull off short hair. So if you can, you may as well rock it for a little while.
Awesome. Well, I think I'll keep it for a little bit and then we'll see.
That's awesome. That is all the questions that I had for you today, though. So if you had anything else that you wanted to add at the end, or to anybody else out there that would help or benefit anyone.
Oh, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. I think this is a lot of fun. I love being able to talk to our team members, and I know we say it all the time, but we can't say it enough. And it's really just thank you for everything you guys do. You make my job really easy, and you make me look really good. And I constantly say I work for you guys. It's not the other way around. And I want you guys to know that, and I mean that. Our team, whether it's our fire starters, back of house, front of the house, our management teams, you guys are the ones that are working day in and day out to make this brand the best that it could possibly be. And for that, I want to say thank you. And I hope that everybody loves working in the brand. It's a really fun place. It's the best culture I've seen in casual dining. And if you don't feel that way, be a part of the solution and bring some ideation, fun, and energy into our restaurants to make sure we are the best place to work within the industry.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. And I'm sure I will be seeing you again soon on the town hall. So that will be awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a great weekend. Keep up the
You
great
too.
work.
All right. Thank you. See you later.
Take care.